guys, Lee with Barely Training here, just bringing to you beautiful outdoors in San Diego. You may or may not know this shooting spot. Last time I was actually here was 20 years ago, and my good friend Tyler here said, hey, let's go find that spot and film a little video. So we're here today, and we're gonna do the Barely 5.
Let's do it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
My name's Tyler, local here in San Diego, just an average civilian, no military background. Actually met these guys at GFT a while back, and ever since kind of just been trying to become a little bit more prepared. So yeah, out here talking kit today.
Cool.
Looking forward to this. So first time doing the Barely 5, and yeah, man, looking forward to it.
Nice. All right. Cool. All right, Tyler. So question number one. You said you had no military, no law enforcement experience, right?
Yeah.
You're getting into it. Is it like drinking from a fire hose? Like, tell me honestly, like you're swimming in the deep end now. We've come a long way in gear and guns and everything in the last 10 years since I've been in the industry, 30 years since I've been shooting. How does it feel? Does it just feel like you're swimming in the deep end, trying to learn everything, absorb it, or just give me a rundown of how?
No, yeah.
Because you're relatively new, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just started back in 2020, and
Okay.
about last year and a half or so, I've been taking a little bit more serious. So, yeah, man, it's like you said. It's almost like a little bit overwhelming at first. You hear so many different recommendations from the people with military background, the civilians, the hunters, the influencers, all that good stuff. For me, I feel like it's kind of just knowing what you're looking for. If you're trying to be a competitive shooter, if you're trying to just be that person that's prepared at home for like a home defense setup, or if you're actually a believer in the Second Amendment and actually realize what this stuff is for, and you want to become a little bit more knowledgeable and prepared. That's kind of where I'm at now. So I'm just trying to look with people. I'm just trying to improve my kit, actually try stuff. Don't just take one person's recommendation.
Yeah.
Try different people's recommendations and see what works for you. So for instance, for pretty much, if I could recommend anything to a new person getting into this, I would just say, have a goal for like your long term. So you don't have 100 holsters sitting in your drawer, 100 different belts sitting in your drawer. Kind of know what you're looking for. If you're trying to be an EDC prepared, just get a quality EDC belt. You know, you don't really have to have a battle belt. You know?
Yeah.
Not saying you shouldn't have a battle belt, but kind of know what to get, what's priority. So
Different things for different applications.
Absolutely.
Like we were talking earlier, I have different guns for different scenarios. I have a daytime gun, I have a nighttime gun, I have a distance gun, I have a short range gun. Like you've got to work your angles and know, okay, well, this application deserves this best use of it. You know, not everything is a square peg in a round hole. You can't just shove it all in. You gotta find different aspects.
Absolutely. Which also brings me to like kit. For instance, when I first got my kit, I was trying to do like what you just said, make everything all in one, you know, for every different loadout, every different possible scenario you can think of. I was trying to put that all in one kit, which honestly ends up becoming a big old, too much stuff going on here. So that's a great point. There's different applications, different stuff for different tools, like you said. So these are tools. If you have a job, you go in the toolbox, you pick out a certain tool for that job.
Absolutely.
And so that's a great point.
Yeah, like this is probably one of my biggest loadout kits. It's my go-to if things were to go down. But realistically, I have a training kit. I have a night ops kit. I have a kit that's a home kit that has like the big thick plates in it. You know, I'm not gonna wear those around town usually.
Yeah.
But I have them. So it's a great idea to just choose, okay, I need this, and build it accordingly.
Exactly.
You know, not like build this and it will fit every scenario. So yeah,
That's a great point.
That's a really good way to look at it from a newbie. Like I kind of just grew up in this stuff, but someone jumping in, it's a good way to just like focus.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Not trying to do the whole thing all at once.
For sure. And just to kind of touch base on that, don't rush into purchases as well.
Yeah.
Don't be like me and buy a High Point C9 for your first gun. True story, by the way.
Have you seen the video of our High Point challenge?
I have not. I want to look at that. I want to check that out though.
I think there was 10 of us. We all bought High Points. And the goal, there was 3 criteria: the prettiest gun, the best shooting, and the best acting.
I feel like
so like you had style points, like how you shot, you know, were style points, and then the guns were just super decorated. Like I just took a Dremel and drilled holes in mine. Some people bedazzled theirs. Some people covered them in stickers. Like it was a really, really fun thing. And then guess what? The winner, everyone sold them their guns. So the winner has now 10 atrocious, ugly High Points.
just a C9 collection.
Yeah, and he just has all of them, and he's like, I don't even know what to do with these.
That's great. Man.
But they're pretty bad. Like, yeah, so go back in our Instagram and check them out.
I definitely gonna check that out. Sounds interesting.
We're gonna do another one, and I'll invite you to that one. But like I said, we're playing for pinks, so just be aware.
Right on.
You may spend 30 hours decorating your gun, and it's gonna be gone.
Playing for pinks, I like it, man.
Yeah. So, all right, cool. All right, Tyler. Question number 2. What has been like the biggest downfall you've seen? Like what traps have you fallen into getting into this stuff? Like what rabbit holes have you gone down and realized this is not even the right thing? Like my personal favorite right now is red anodized parts. So no offense to any of the brands that make them, I'm just not a fan of them.
The Call of Duty class?
Yeah, so let me know like what's been the biggest mistake or downfall you've made in jumping in the deep end?
Cheaping out on certain parts, and then kind of worrying about spending more money on other items that you shouldn't. For instance, like my chest rig, for instance, I wanted to get a really expensive chest rig, and then I cheaped out on like medical stuff. For instance, got the Amazon tourniquets, which in my opinion, it should be the opposite.
Oh, 100%.
A chest rig is just there to kind of hold your essential items.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go buy the cheapest one out there, but there is some, like for instance, airsoft chest rigs that are gonna work for your average, prepared civilian setup with 3 mags, an IFAK, tourniquet, a multi-tool, that type of stuff. So basically, knowing where to spend your money, I feel like was a big problem that I had. I also got a UTG red dot, for instance. Was my first red dot. And I'm not here to like clown on any of you guys that have those red dots or optics, but for me, I feel like an optic is a huge item on your rifle.
Oh, 100%.
That's what makes you able to put shots down range, in my opinion. So obviously zeroing is another topic, but knowing that, like, for instance, you don't want to cheap out on your optic and you don't want to cheap out on your light, for instance. Those 2 items for a rifle, just to give you guys like a example.
Yeah.
Where to spend your money. So
I always tell people on a rifle, like not including the accessories, right? Just the rifle.
Oh, yeah.
I always tell people the only thing that really matters is the barrel, the BCG, and the trigger.
100%.
That's all that matters. Everything else
BCG and barrel is huge.
Preference.
Yep, exactly.
The barrel is what's going to give you your accuracy and your longevity. The BCG is the heart and soul of your gun. If it doesn't work, your gun is dead.
Yes.
And the trigger is what's going to improve your shooting. Like, granted, could you use a mil-spec trigger and shoot fast? 100%. But if I use a Geisley in this one, it's a quicker trigger, it's a faster trigger, so I can be quicker and faster.
Got it. That
So,
makes sense.
But then once you get into accessories, oh my God, the world, it's you can spend $4 to $4,000 and still not be done.
Absolutely.
So.
Really quick question on that, because you do have knowledge with this. I was wondering, as far as I heard, the 3 main items to your rifle are your barrel, your BCG, and the buffer tube, buffer spring. Does the buffer tube, buffer spring have anything to do with that? Is that okay?
In my opinion, no.
No, that's great. That's what I was wondering.
I couldn't even tell you what buffers are in.
Likewise, I've never changed
Some of them have
mine.
H1, some of them have T2s. Like they're kind of all over the place. I did try a hydraulic one, and I did not like it.
Okay.
I tried it for 300 blackout, and it just didn't work because I was like, oh, it'll make it quieter, right? It just didn't work.
Different
Literally
weights though, like that type of stuff has nothing to do with, in your opinion.
At the end of the day, it's a 223.
Got it.
Right? There's not really a lot of recoil built into the gun. So a 223 5.6. So
you don't wake up with PTSD the next day.
yeah. So to me, the recoil.
Sorry, did you see that video?
Yeah, the news the news guy. Yeah.
Right on.
But to me, the recoil is not really. It's manageable at any level. So if I like have a T2, I'll throw it in. If I have an H1, I'll throw it in. But if I have a regular one, I'll throw it in. Like to me, the buffer system is not really that. Until you get into certain niche things, like with 300 blackout, you want to go with the lightest spring and the lightest buffer possible.
Okay.
Because the round is actually starving for gas and starving for energy. So to limit that energy would be to put heavier stuff in. And it's going to limit that energy and that BCG's movement.
Got it.
And the gun won't work.
Okay.
Because it needs as much energy as you can possibly keep in the gun, not suck out of it. So a lot of these like adjustable gas blocks, adjustable BCGs, which I run in this guy because I run suppressed, they suck energy out because it's too much energy coming back into the gun. With a 5.56, especially running suppressed, you get the back pressure of the cam.
Yeah, makes sense.
So my BCG actually vents a lot of that energy out.
Got it.
Which helps the gun cycle a little bit smoother. The longevity of parts is there too because it's not slamming internally so hard.
Right on.
So to me, in a 5.56 gun, your buffer system is just, it's a buffer system.
That's good to know because I didn't change mine and I was wondering if that was just a rumor and all. Cause I agree with the bolt carrier group though. You do want to get a quality bolt carrier group and the barrel, absolutely.
Yeah. So I am running a bootleg in this one because it is adjustable from the gas port, or I'm sorry, not the gas port, the ejection port. So I can literally open the ejection port of the gun right here and adjust the BCG right there.
Oh, wow.
Adjust the gas.
I got to adjust. Okay, that makes sense.
So to me, when running
crazy, I didn't know.
suppressed, that's super easy because I don't have to deal with wrenches and stuff like that, and I don't have to get inside the rail and mess with it.
Yeah.
Or sometimes when they're adjusted to one setting, well, what if I took the can off and I want to run the gun? Now it's starving for gas again. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
So I really like the BCGs that are adjustable from the ejection port.
And who makes that, the BCG?
That one is Bootleg.
Bootleg, got it.
I know Gemtech makes one, and I think a couple other companies do. And not to go too far down the rabbit hole, but the reason I chose Bootleg over Gemtech is because Gemtech has 2 positions and Bootleg has 4.
Oh, okay.
So you can do half positions in there, which I like.
Yeah,
just
more
to give
options.
me a little more adjustment.
I like it, dude. That's awesome.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. All right, Tyler, time for question 3.
Let's do it.
Tres. What is the best training aid that you've come across? Whether it be live fire, dry fire, shooting at home, what have you found that's the best training aid that you personally used?
That's a great question, man. To be honest, 100% hands down dry fire.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Just in general,
dry firing.
Or do you have a dry fire plan?
No, well, there's definitely some plans out there, but for me, there is a plan actually. Let me go back on that. So for me, I feel like dry firing will save you a lot of money because you're going to be spending money on ammo. You're going to be spending money, gas, go to the range, time, all that good stuff. And I've seen people, and I was one of those people that would go to the range not really knowing what to work on when I first started, and just throwing rounds down range, just literally just ups, high readies, that type of stuff, or just, you know, one reload ones. But all that type of stuff I could be doing I could be working on at home. So for instance, like the reloading, everything you can work on at the house besides accuracy and recoil management.
Yeah.
So reloading, finding your sights, bringing the gun to your eye, reloading in your workspace, you know, getting all that type of stuff, drawing, going to your weak hand, your sport hand, all that type of stuff. You can work on all that at the house. So I didn't realize that until I had gone to a competition and I was asking some of the better shooters there, hey, how'd you get so quick and all that? And they were saying, dude, you got to dry fire, man. You got to dry fire. And just start with the basics, like finding your optic, for instance, bringing the gun to your eye and not your eye to the gun. So just bringing that front sight to your eye, just doing that, you know, 20, 30, 40 times. If you do that every day for 5-10 minutes.
Not to interrupt you, but that right there is the key to running a red dot.
Absolutely.
100%. Because
agree.
a lot of people you'll see when they first get a red dot, they'll do this and then they'll fish the gun.
Yes.
Right? And they're trying to find the optic. The key to running a red dot is pretend you don't have a red dot.
Yep.
Just pull the gun, draw naturally, and be like, oh, there it is.
Exactly.
Right in front of me, right? And just be like, oh, there it is.
Exactly.
You don't got to go, and it moves to your eyeball.
Yep.
Your eyeball will just naturally come to it.
Think about when you were little with the squirt gun. Same thing. You wouldn't be looking for that sight. You would be pointing and shooting, and that red dot is just going to come to your eye.
Yeah, I always tell people natural body position. You know, how long have you been pointing at stuff your whole life?
Exactly.
Right? I'm pointing right there. And look, I can point at the camera pretty dang close and didn't even look.
100%.
So just naturally put that into your gun mechanics, right? And now I'm holding a gun, and I can point at things and use my gun mechanics. So it gets you even closer, and then you can come in and then take that split second to get on your sights, get a perfect shot, and pull the trigger.
I agree, 100%. And you're not just going to become a great shooter overnight. If you do all the basic stuff like that, like finding your sight first, like he said, working on that is like the key to running a red dot.
Yeah.
Then you start working your reloads, not, you know, looking down here, maintaining your eyes down range, that type of stuff. That'll all come with time. Time and training. But dry firing will save you a lot of ammo. And then once you do that at home, you dry fire, then you go to the range, you know, you bring 100 rounds or something like that and put all that work that you've been doing at home into the range. Have a plan.
Yeah, people, like, they'll go to the range and they'll shoot 100 rounds, a whole box or whatever, but they'll just shoot it.
Exactly.
And they're just like,
with
bang,
no plan.
bang. And I'm like, that's cool, but, you know, if you go to the range and you practice one specific skill 100 times,
you're going to get great.
Yeah, and okay, next time you practice a different skill. Or if it's just a draw, bang. Okay, put it around. Draw, bang.
Absolutely.
Right? That draw, you're going to do 100 times in one day.
Yep.
I guarantee you'll be sore, but in reality, you're building those neural pathways to make that muscle memory.
Exactly, and like he just said, the last part, muscle memory, it's a reflex now. Like he was saying earlier, I don't even have to look at my other camera over here. I could just point and I know I'm already on target just from doing it a lot at home, dry firing. So muscle memory is huge with that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's a great one. Practice that.
Practice dry firing, guys.
All right, so question number 4. We talked a little bit how you have multiple rifles at home, right?
Yep.
Tell me the best application for this one right here.
So this
What is this one about?
This is my go-to rifle.
Okay.
Safe and clear. Just so you know. So this is my go-to rifle. The whole idea behind this build was I wanted something that was really ergonomic, something that was light. I didn't want to have a big scope or LPVO on there. I wanted something that was good for 200 yards in and all day. Sure. Pretty much I could just run this for home defense. I could, you know, CQB it, all that type of stuff. Basically just something that was really light and ergonomic and pretty much just quick, fast, and reliable. So that was the whole idea behind this build. I have a recce build at home.
The last one is pretty heavy.
What was that?
Reliable.
Reliable.
Last one. That's a key right there.
That's the main part behind the main key behind a build is making sure it's reliable. Absolutely. So this is kind of a parts build. I just kind of got a bunch of different parts.
Yeah.
But I did kind of try to get quality budget, if that makes sense. Like Air Precision, great quality budget brand out there. So yeah, so basically that was my idea behind this build. I wanted like this is my CQBR, if you will, my close quarters battle rifle. I know it's not a 10.5 or doesn't have a can, that type of stuff, but here in California, being a civilian, 13.9 pinned and well to 16, so Gavin Newsom and his friends don't really get to trip out on me. Yeah, that was my idea behind this build.
Nice. It's a beautiful build, man.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
I, personally, sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
In ARs, I don't think I've ever bought a complete AR. I think I've built from the very first one to every one I've ever had. I've built them all from scratch.
Same. I got that advice from a person like yourself with experience to build your own rifle and kind of get parts that are going to be for your goal that you're going for.
Because, I mean, I tell you right now, companies like Daniel Defense make phenomenal guns. I hate their stock.
Yeah.
You know why? All this luscious beard hair.
That beautiful beard.
Honestly, they have a rubber stock and it grabs my beard hair and I hate it.
Yeah.
So the only reason I say that is because it proves my point is one company does not make the best of every part.
Yep.
Right? They make great barrels, they make a great gun in general, they make great rails. However, their triggers are just mil spec, so I'm going to swap that out. I'm going to swap the stock out. I don't really care for their grip. So, but if I build it myself, I can put in their barrel, I can put in their rails.
Yes.
I can put, I've always built my own, and I've always been extremely happy because I can build it on paper, fine tune every part, and then I have my cost analysis too.
Exactly.
And I can be like, oh, geez, this gun's going to be $3,000.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need that special little part. Maybe I can just get the little cheaper one.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's a good way, man, to also save money. Because if you get a completed rifle and then you realize, like you said, man, I got to change the stock. Oh, this grip's kind of, I want to get a different grip.
Yep.
Now I want to put a different flash hider. You know, I want to get an angled foregrip on here. Like all that type of stuff. Different rail. That all adds up. Then you have parts. Then you got to have storage for those parts. And then you're just wasting money. So building it is a great idea.
I always tell people, as a builder, you will end up with a parts bin.
Yeah,
100%.
That's true.
I have a bin at my house, and I'm like, I don't want these parts, but I don't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
I can't, like, I guess you could eBay them or something, but honestly, if someone ever comes to my house and says, what parts do you have? I go, here you go.
Here you go. What do you need?
You have to take the whole thing. That's the problem. You can't just have that one part you need. You got to take the whole box.
Yep. If you guys have lost a detent when you've been building, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe down.
Yeah.
And drop a comment.
Man, so many. I just buy the packs now, the 20 packs.
Yeah, dude, all the
and just
time.
like put it in the drawer and be like, find it later. Don't worry about
that one's gone.
Yeah. Tyler, number 5. Where do you see yourself going in this? I know, like, obviously you're not going to try out for SEAL Team 6, right? That's not what I'm getting at. But where do you see, like, what's the avenues in the industry right now that are really, like, fascinating to you or just you're super interested in? Like, to me, long-range precision shooting is fun, but I love the life of CQB.
Yeah.
Like, it's fast, it's thinking, it's quick, it's a chess game, it's going. So where do you see yourself kind of, like, finding your groove?
To be honest, like you just said, I'm kind of on the same boat. I enjoy long-range shooting. I enjoy precision shooting. It's fun. But at the same time, I feel like I would find myself more so in a CQB environment for the most part as a civilian, as a citizen. So I'm not saying I'm not going to be clearing houses and stuff, doing solo CQB if I don't have to. But I just like, you know, one, being able to be quick, finding different positions, knowing the difference between cover and concealment. So basically, to answer that question, I feel like just kind of really upping my game with CQB tactics, not only just for home defense, but just for being a prepared citizen, prepared civilian. So I think that's kind of where I find myself going, is down that road.
What's interesting is people don't realize home defense is CQB.
Absolutely.
Like just moving from your bedroom to your living room with a gun is CQB.
Yes.
Right? So if you learn the principles and the angles and the how to do things, you're actually just making yourself more home prepared.
100%.
It's not like you and I are gonna kit up and go take down a hospital because the terrorists have took it down.
Yeah,
That's not our job.
Exactly.
Right? I've passed that life a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're not in that life.
I'm here to protect my family,
Right.
and yeah.
So people ask me a lot of times, like, hey, what do you use for your CQ or your home defense gun? And I'm like, a handgun. And they're like, what? You don't use like a rifle with a light and laser? No, man.
No.
I can't move around my house like that.
Same here, man. I live in an urban city, and I'm not really trying to throw rounds to my neighbor with a 5.56 through drywall. So.
Well, not only that, but like, I have small children.
Yeah.
I have light switches.
Yeah.
Think about that. Who doesn't have a light switch?
Yeah.
Holding a rifle and trying to turn on a light switch. You know, you're like, let me, you know. So to me, a handgun.
Yep.
Easy to manipulate my space. I can pick up my
Absolutely.
kids. I can utilize that. I have a light on the gun.
Yeah.
Right. So I can utilize my space better, and I can be, you know, if someone comes up to me close, I can.
I was just gonna say, and if you're
back.
actually realistic with this stuff and actually thinking about situations, if I'm an intruder and I'm trying to get close to Lee, he's gonna have easier access to, you know, boom, boom, come, you know, it's easier than me grabbing that muzzle from the rifle.
Immediately you grab the muzzle and it's off target.
Exactly. Now it's a fight for, you know, so that's a great point, man, for home defense.
A friend of mine, Matt Clear from Active Shooter Defense School, he used to always say, I don't know if he'll get mad at me for saying this, but he always say, your handgun, even unloaded, is a great chicklets dispenser. And I was like, that is so true.
I like that.
I was like, yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
I like that a lot, actually.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
So
Yeah, man, going down that road, and honestly, also, I see myself, and the reason I'm also trying to do this is normalizing these for citizens here, especially here in California. We all know the laws here, they're crazy. We won't get into that, but just want to normalize this for the next generation. For instance, my son and all them. I want to make these normal. Man, I want people to have knowledge on how to use these and what the Second Amendment, in my opinion, is actually for. So just want to throw that out there as well.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Like, I appreciate your channel because you're pushing the average citizen of getting into it. And I love that. That's so cool, man.
Thank you, man.
Like, just finding your groove and just running with it.
I really appreciate that.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, my stuff is all ingrained in military and law enforcement. I've been down that road. But now I love to see people getting into it because it's been my life for past 15 years.
Yeah.
Just in San Diego. That doesn't count military and stuff like that. So to me, the last 10 years of owning a gun store, I've seen leaps and bounds in the industry, but I love finding new people that are getting into it now and just seeing it through their eyes.
Yeah,
which
man.
I love. It's so cool. Like I've told people before, there's 2 days on the range. The day where I go and I teach everybody, and the day I go and I'm just like in it hard, running my gun. I love both those days just as much because I love teaching what I love.
Yeah.
It's my passion. I love sharing it.
Yeah.
So I love teaching it, but I love running the gun too.
I love it, dude.
You know, so you have both those days, and I love both of them. And,
I appreciate it. I've seen you do both of those days, actually. Not to, you know, just want to throw that out there. I've seen you training, getting on, you know, getting in crazy positions, and I've seen you teaching it, and just a little shout out, man. Doing a great job.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, guys. That was the Barely 5 with TapRackTyler.
Thanks
good
for
friend,
having me,
San
man.
Diego local, which is good. I want to say thank you to him and this beautiful backdrop. We couldn't do much better. We're in the South San Diego. If you guys have ever shot this spot, it's a classic, man. Like I said, 20 years ago I was here, and when you hit me up and said, like, let's go there, I was like, oh my gosh, flashbacks.
Yeah, man. It's awesome over here.
So I appreciate you being on the Barely 5.
Yeah,
and
man.
So now we filmed this first, and now we're gonna get into some shooting. Right?
Looking forward to it,
Some training, and we'll be running gun. We're going to run a little bit of CCW stuff.
Yep.
We're going to run a little bit of kit and rifles, and we're going to have fun.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it, man. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Till next time. We'll see you.